If you run an agency, this video is for you. If you run an Amazon brand, you may also find value in this if you're doing some customer service. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about client surveys. I'm actually going to reveal my actual client survey that I give out to my own clients. And I've been doing this for a consecutive 12 quarters. I've barely edited this survey in the last 3 years, and it's very stable and to the point. I made one edit, though, this past month, and I thought it was so clever, I thought it was worth sharing. So I'm going to dive into this. First of all, the reason a client survey is so critical is if you don't ask some basic questions about how you are doing as an agency, how you are doing in customer service and all of the metrics, you will never know how the client feels about you. Because when you get onto those weekly calls or bi-weekly calls, whatever you do with your brands and clients, they are not going to give you this feedback until the end of your tenure together. For example, if they're thinking about switching agencies, they ain't going to signal that most of the time. Most of the time, they're just going to go shop it and then one day send you a cancellation, and it will surprise you. So I force my clients to fill this out, begrudgingly sometimes, in fact. And I tell my own team members that I want them to complete at least 80% every single quarter. I have 400 brands that we currently work with. That's a lot of surveys to go collect every single quarter. And my survey is not easy to complete. So I'm gonna show you that survey. So some of this is gonna be super basic, obviously fill out a seller to central display name so we can identify them and their name and email. Here is the new thing I added. I agree to extend my contract 90 days and skip filling out the survey. Now, the reason I did this is because we've had certain brands that we've worked with for so long, they don't really have any new feedback for us. And so I wanted to alleviate the fact that on my last quarter survey, about 35 of them said, the only thing I want MAG to stop doing is making me fill out the survey. So I added this one addition, but that's not really why I think this is clever. The reason I think this is so clever is because of the concept of micro-conversion. And for those that are well-versed in sales methodologies know that if you can get somebody to say yes to a small thing, they'll say yes to a bigger thing. And what I have found, even though this technically doesn't actually extend the contract legally, it does mentally. And I believe that a micro conversion, it helps the client commit to us. Now, some of you might say, well, 90 days, that's a short time period, and you would be correct. But in my field, in the agency field especially, and in the Amazon agency field, it is very immature. And what I mean by that is, it's not like Google agency land where there's some big players, it's all consolidated, and of course there's boutiques everywhere in all industries, but there's a lot of, switching agencies going on. There's a lot of coming and going. And so I am very open about how high of a churn rate I have at My Amazon Guy. It's extremely high for our clients. But I'm also very open about how fast I'm growing. And if you go to myguy.agency/case, and we'll put a link at the top of the video here, you can see a case study on how I got my agency to 20 million ARR. And I go into great detail. I show all of my revenue and metrics and everything that we've been doing. And it's been a phenomenal ride. And so for me to be able to be at 400 brands with a high churn model, that tells you I'm really freaking good at sales. But in addition to that, it also is symptomatic of the industry and what is experienced. And so there's a lot of native born brands, these brands that go over to Amazon.com, they pop up and they disappear. They pop up, do really well on Amazon, but can't go to other platforms. They fail on Walmart. They fail on their own e-commerce.com website. They only do good on Amazon. So that's been an experience that I have seen time and time again. And so because of that, well over 40% of the brands that stop working with us are due to financial reasons. And so high churn model, I know that our clients are likely to cancel at any given notice, any given moment. And so I am trying to find ways to prevent that. And I'm very happy with my model. I'm very comfortable with a high churn model, but I keep coming up with ideas on how to tweak it, make that 1% improvement, so to speak. And this was my clever idea that I came up with this month, and that was to add a micro commitment. I agreed to extend my contract for 90 days and skip filling out the survey. And my thought process here is that if a client will do that, they will be happier with us. And if they can't make that micro commitment, we force them to tell us why they can't. And it also helps the brand manager who's over that account know that, hey, I'm not even prepared to extend 90 days. That means we got to work harder and we got to earn their business. So we started seeing some of these surveys come in and complete, and we're nearing, third part of the quarter. And so that means I'm putting pressure on all my brand managers right now to get to 80% before the quarter's out. And I got one brand director and his husk is at 17%. And I'm like, come on, dude, let's go. And trying to figure out how to make that happen. All right, so the rest of the survey, I'm going to go through next and explain why I ask the questions I do. So some of these are going to make common sense. Others are going to be a little bit more of a leap, so to speak. So first question, how would you rate your overall experience with my Amazon guide? Now, I dictated this one with a star rating scenario because that's kind of similar to how you would rate a product on Amazon. So if you go over to Amazon.com right now, you can clearly see a 4.3 out of 5 stars here. And my thought process was the consumers are very used to selecting stars like this. So I wanted to have it kind of tie into the Amazon platform. It's the only question I have in this format with 5 stars. My kids and co-hosts are taking a look at my aquarium in the back here. Those are my 2 older boys. We just got back from the Philippines, had a good time, and they want to feed my fish probably. If you guys want to feed my fish, go grab it out of the freezer. We'll do it while we're on camera today. Oh, they're super excited about that. All right, so brand manager survey, you got to identify who your director is, who your brand manager is. This just helps us know who the survey is about. Sometimes we switch brands from one brand manager to another for various reasons. Maybe we have too many on one brand manager and just need to equalize it. Or maybe there's another reason why we might swap things up. So we identify who they are. Very important for long-term data collection is filtering. How would you rate your satisfaction with your brand manager? And we generally see high marks on this, but in cases where we see a score of 6 or under, we're going to take some aggressive action on that and flat out ask, the brand if they want to swap brand managers. Sometimes we can have a great brand manager, but it's just not a fit. If I put a hyper extroverted brand manager with a hyper introverted client, that communication stream is going to not work out so well. The extrovert wants to talk on the phone all day. The introvert just wants to type some messages and never get on the phone. So we might realign that. And I've tried to use Culture Index and some other techniques to kind of get that assignment right from the get-go. But in agency land, sometimes it's just who's ever available, and that's what happens. So, all right. So they're putting the fish food in right now behind me here, and you can start to see the fish are going to get a little excited in the corner over my shoulder here. It's been really fun building this tank out, and I literally just built it to be a backdrop for my podcasting here. So it's kind of fun to see it get played with from time to time. We have a dory in there. We've got some Nemos, and that's a Finding Nemo reference there. We've got some tangs and a fire hawk fish, a lot of other cool things. All right, so back to video proper here. And I got a Vizsla dog also. Everybody's getting in the action. My brand manager gets on base, activity that matters, right? So this is a good measurement to know whether they're acting on the right activities. So for example, if you have a meeting with the brand manager and they commit to you or tell you we're going to do something and then they never follow through on it, we're probably going to get a no on that, and we're going to want to know more information about that. My brand manager is a strategic. So we typically hire strategic brand managers. They're our quarterback. They're the ones throwing the plays. I've already built the playbook, and to use a football metaphor, I've built the whole book of plays that can be run. We're actually going to go to market and sell our brand manager playbook probably for about $297 sometime in the next 30 days. So be on the lookout for that. And it's a great playbook that could help a brand or an agency figure out like where to focus and what has the most impact to drive sales. And so we gave them the playbook, but if the brand manager isn't strategic enough to select the right plays, the client's going to let us know. So we hire people that are strategic. We focus in on trying to make the client feel like we're strategic. It's a key part of our success and measurement. My brand manager has attention to detail. So we ask this question because if we're sending bad deliverables, they're going to mark no. They're going to tell us things aren't accurate. We know that accuracy is so important, so we hire lots of highly detailed people. And if accuracy ever comes under fire, we know that's one of the fastest ways a client's going to fire us. So we ask that question. I would like to keep my brand manager or switch to a new brand manager. And my son tells me my starfish is coming out. It's really cool to see a starfish wiggle and move around here. You won't be able to make that out on the camera, unfortunately. So bluntly asking if somebody wants to switch to a new brand manager is also a form of a micro commitment, right? And so I would say every quarter we get 1 to 3 of these requests. So out of 400 brands, 2 of them are asking for a brand manager swap every quarter. It's actually a pretty good metric, in my opinion. And that helps us know that, like, hey, they like MAG, they just want to try a different brand manager out and whatnot. All right, so department-specific surveys. So instead of it just being all about the brand manager, we want to know, how's the design team doing? How's the PPC team doing? How is the catalog team doing? Merchandising team? And so we're going to give independent ratings. And I got to tell you, I never see all 10s. I usually see like 3 of them do really well, and then 1 department is the focus area. So the benefit of asking these questions to clients is to figure out which department they feel needs the most focus right now, which one is struggling the most. So is it the design or is it the PPC? And even if the brand manager directly asks on a client meeting, they may not be able to articulate it. They may not know how to tell us. So by simply asking and separating these questions out, we get scores that indict our bad areas and reward our good. So it helps us know where to focus. Overall company survey. So these are things like we're promising during the sales process. Everybody hires us to grow sales. Almost nobody hires us to just maintain things. Now, some do, but almost nobody. And so we know if we don't grow somebody's sales, it's very unlikely we're going to have somebody stick around for years to come. So we want to know, do you feel like we are meeting your expectations on growing sales? Communication speed. We know that if we don't turn around every piece of communication within 1 business day, it upsets our clients. And so certain brand managers who may be slower to respond, maybe they get bogged down on a particular account. I got dancing going on now. And that can be a challenge. And so we want to know like how fast our turnaround speed is. And in general, it's always good to be faster than the client, right? So if the client is slow, but you're slow +1, you're doing okay. Match their pace or do slightly better, typically doing okay. Strategy, again, we're gonna hit that strategy question again. You know, up here we ask that the brand manager is strategic, but the brand manager might be strategic and they might like them, but they may think MAG is not strategic. And so there could be a delineation there. Sometimes asking the same question with a little bit different flavor will get a different result. And peace of mind. So Amazon, super chaotic. Agencies, super chaotic. It's very difficult to sell on Amazon. It's even more difficult to run an agency because you're dealing with all of the difficulties and complexities of Amazon plus. The amount of people we manage at MAG, 500 people, so peace of mind. Now, the next part is probably my favorite, and this is 3 questions you should be asking all the time. What should mags stop doing, start doing, and do more of? And I'm telling you, this is the best place to get feedback. Somebody could give me all 10 marks, and if we didn't ask these open-ended questions, we wouldn't learn what still we could do more, what's pissing them off, where could we upsell, where could we take more money, where could we limit things, right? This is a great place for us to find out what's pissing them off. And so one thing that came up on our last survey is that they didn't like the fact that we sent shipping recommendations every single week. What? That's something super valuable. Everybody needs shipping recommendations, right? But a solid 30% of our clients don't like it. And they think it's a waste of resources, a noise. They disregard it. They don't act on that information. And so we would see that show up in the stop doing section all the time. And so when somebody told us to stop doing it, we stopped doing it. And the client was happier, right? So when you ask for things and then actually deliver on those client survey results for things they ask, it makes the client even happier. So they could give us all 10 marks, but say, stop doing, one thing. And we stop doing shipping recommendations or whatever it might be. And their increase in satisfaction goes up. I wish MAG would do more of something. So this is a way for us to get some accolades. They're like, man, I really love what you're doing with A+ content. I really love what you're doing with PPC. I wish you would do more of that. And we see all kinds of very unique feedback that comes in. And then I wish MAG would start doing this. So something we've seen a lot of recently is TikTok, Walmart, and those sort of opportunities pop up. Clients really want us to expand service. And so we see a lot of that on the I wish MAG did this, start doing, that we don't do. Maybe a competitor is sending communication to one of our clients and saying, hey, MAG's not doing this and you need it and whatnot. And so that's an opportunity for us to upsell, play some defense, and get some additional revenue. What is one thing in our sales process that we deliver to your satisfaction? So this is a way for us to get a micro satisfaction out of them. So, hey, you told me you were going to grow sales. You did it. You told me that the experience that I would have with MAG would be the same experience during the sales process. You did it. The way that MAG works is the same as Steven talks about in his videos. Those are things I love hearing, and we hear them frequently. What is one thing we didn't deliver? And the number one thing we hear, you didn't grow my sales, because we can't grow the sales for every single brand. We try our best, but sometimes the product's just not up to snuff. Various reasons that can happen. And then sometimes there might be a miscommunication or an assumption made during the sales process. We have a very short sales process. A lot of competing agencies are a lot more thorough, right? I love one-call closes. We seek those out all the time. And those clients generally do very well with us. But in one call, you can't cover everything. And so I like to explain this as it relates to Amazon, right? So Amazon's changing all the time. Agencies are changing all the time. And what the client tells you they want during the sales process could be completely different from what they actually want 90 days from now. And so when I first started out my agency, as a boutique, as a consultant, I had like a one-page contract, because I knew it didn't matter what they committed to, they would change their mind 30, 60, 90 days later. Today, we have a way more sophisticated contract. I had to grow up and be a big boy and put the unfortunate men's suit pants on of corporate world, but I still have a distaste for it. So I did it because it's necessary, because I want to go upstream and work with bigger brands and work with the corporations who expect that kind of thing. And it scares away the small guy a little bit, but we try and work through it. So in any case, we need to know if there was a promise unfulfilled, and we ask that question. And then finally, any additional comments or feedback. Generally don't get a whole lot from this. I think that my favorite 3 questions, the start, stop, more, generates the most actionable feedback. And then, if they fill that out, we're very happy. So finally, I just like to reinforce the brand, throw my own picture in there. We got MAG's logo at the top. Our leadership team personally reads these. I used to read them all myself. I've had to delegate a little bit of that. So I used to have that wording that Stephen Pope reads them all personally. I'm aware of them all personally, but I generally have somebody flag the ones that I need to read at this point. So I adjusted that to general leadership. We want to make sure we're following through on everything. So this is the survey and how I do it. Anybody who's watching this video, I give you full permission to replicate this. I know for a fact that's a great survey to give out. Maybe you want to customize it or do something with it, no problem. I have a lot of tools like this as part of one of the programs I have over at myguy.agency. We sell SOPs specifically for agencies. We also sell SOPs specifically for Amazon brands. And so number one question I get is like, hey, does the agency SOPs also include the Amazon SOPs? And the answer is no, they're separate programs. So you can see, what we sell, $2,000 to get our agency operation SOPs, 10 grand to get my sales process. And I spent millions of dollars building that out. That's why there's a 10K price point there. And then you can also buy Amazon SOPs from us by going to myamazonguy.com/SOP. And these ones are a little bit cheaper. It's only $1,000 for this to get a subscription access, or $2,500 for a lifetime. And so lots of SOPs, 450 Amazon-based SOPs. You can see a lot of good feedback we're getting for these. And agency SOPs as well. What got me to 6, 7, now 8 figures as a company and as a brand. And with all of that said, I'm still a family man, and I just took my entire family out to the Philippines for a full month of vacation. Got to see Boracay, El Nido, Cebu, Manila, all of the great islands of the Philippines, and got to really connect with my boys. They're going to go back to school tomorrow. They got an extra day off to recover from the time zone change. But I also asked them questions about how I'm doing. So, Bruce, how was the Philippines trip?
Great!
Yeah? Did you enjoy eating and doing all the things we did? How about you, Hunter?
It was also great. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yummy.
It was yummy, wasn't it? So lots of beach time, lots of good focus. I don't mind when my kids interrupt my videos. I think it adds some flavor. And you guys add a comment in the YouTube channel from time to time telling me it's kind of fun to see them grow up. If you go back to my videos, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, you'll see my kids like grow up on camera. It's kind of fun to see. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys make a purchase from my Amazon guy, my agency guy. I'm the founder of these programs. I'm an educator. That's why I sell these things. I have more success from teaching than I do from anything else in my life, and that's why I do what I do. And you can tell this guy's going to be a dancer. So he's the high extrovert. Can you tell? All right, we'll see you guys later.